Hi, it's John Cronshaw here with my author diary for the weekend in May the 10th, 2026. I've had a busy week. I have been working on Dawn of Assassins Book 4, so this is called Reign of Daggers. I now have a cover for it. So I was booked in with Christian for a cover, so I thought, well, I'm just going to get this one done and it will keep me motivated and focused, and it's working. So I'm about 60,000 words into my draft. I'm aiming for like the mid 70s with this one, and I think I'm definitely kind of hitting it in the right kind of way. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the story. I think it's working. So yeah, that's the best I could say about it. No, it is. It's fun to write. I do enjoy that series. So yeah, just sticking with the focus, trying to stay focused on that one project. That is what I'm doing. So yeah, it's going well anyway. What else? Oh yeah, so this week I found out my favourite podcast, or at least one of my favourite podcasts, has come to an end, which is a shame. So this is a podcast called Knowledge Fight, and I've got over 1,100 episodes. I've been going for like nearly a decade now, and they basically deconstruct Alex Jones and kind of conspiracy media and things like that. So I think they've done a great service to just the general discourse, and I think I think it's sad that they're kind of calling it a day. But what is it? Jordan from the show, he did a video talking about his frustrations with things that are going on, and I can kind of completely see where he's coming from, and I'm kind of agree with a lot of what he was saying. So it's just like, yeah, fair enough. It's not really anything you can do about that. So that's a shame. So I am on the lookout for a new podcast to fill that gap. I do kind of listen to quite a few podcasts that are in that kind of conspiracy deconstruction vein. I think if I let myself, I could easily get down that rabbit hole of being a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want to call it. But I'll get the hits, I think, from the people who are like, oh, actually, here's why this is wrong. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I do recommend Some Dare Call It Conspiracy, which is really good. Two British guys who were former conspiracy theorists, kind of now working to deconstruct stuff. Conspirituality does, I don't know, sometimes that gets a bit too political for my liking, but it's interesting. Does a lot of stuff, especially in the wellness space. And QAA, which used to be QAnon Anonymous. I'll say that's probably been my favourite one as well. Very funny, and just kind of looking at the conspiracy kind of craziness at the fringes. And yeah, so it's been interesting. There was a really interesting series, which I don't know if it's out yet on the main feed, but on the Patreon of Some Dare Call It Conspiracy, they've done a story about Dr. David Cartland, which I've just finished listening to the last episode of that. And that's really interesting. That is about just how this kind of world can essentially just get in people's heads, unravel their lives. So this was a GP, and he kind of become really into the anti-COVID, anti-vaccine kind of conspiracy stuff, and this led to him harassing lots of people and getting people to harass lots of people on his behalf. Ended up doing a lot of really bad stuff to do with just what would you say, just really harassing behaviour, and so he ended up losing his ability to be a GP. He got struck off. He had his qualifications basically taken away from him, and we have a thing in the UK called DBS, which is basically like it's a kind of criminal record check, but it also takes into account other things, and it's whether you're suitable for working essentially with children, vulnerable people, stuff like that. And so he's been deemed not suitable for working with adults and children, which means he can't do his hobbies anymore because he was an amateur referee. And so there's a lot of things where just this kind of toxic mindset, being in this kind of disinformation, misinformation vortex, whatever you want to call it, it's just ruined a lot of people's lives. So yeah, I think these podcasts and these people kind of trying to redress the balance are doing a great service. I think there's a Mark Twain quote, isn't there, where he says, a lie's gone halfway around the world before the truth gets its shoes on, or something like that. But yeah, I think having these kind of things, it's kind of useful for me, just to kind of keep me level, because I know that I've got that in me. So yeah, definitely worth checking those out anyway. And if you've got any suggestions, do let me know, because as I say, Knowledge Fights now left a couple of hours in my week that I would have otherwise listened to that. So yeah, let me know. What else? Oh yeah, started reading a book by Chris Fox. So this is a book called Heir to Atlantis. So this is a archaeological thriller, and speaking of conspiracy stuff, it is inspired by, I would say, the kind of writings of people like Graham Hancock. So the kind of pseudo-history. Now I love this kind of pseudo-history stuff. I don't take it as history or anything like that. I enjoy it as story fuel. I think it is a fun kind of exercise in just kind of imagination and logic and things like that. And I think that Chris Fox has done a really good job with this. It's a lot of fun, and this is one of those stories where I read it and I'm just like, oh, I'd love to do something like this. This is fun. But I have to stop myself, don't I? It's like, yeah, because I just end up writing everything in loads of different genres, and yeah, so I keep focused. And yeah, but I'm really enjoying the book. I've read a few of his books over the years, and I think he's kind of, well, quite a few. The reason I got into Chris Fox's stuff was he's done a lot of, I think probably about when I first started getting into indie publishing, probably about 10 years ago, something like that. He did a series of books that were aimed at indie authors. The kind of, I don't know, I don't know if he coined the term, but he did a book called Right to Market, and I think that was taken as a bit of a, I mean, what would you call it? It's a bold statement, and it's the idea that you kind of write to the market, and I don't know. When I first read that, I was I don't know, it annoyed me a bit, but I've come to kind of reframe it as writing to entertain readers, and this is what I hope I do. So I think a lot of authors write for themselves, and more power to them. I definitely write because I love entertaining readers, and I want to tell these stories that will be enjoyed by other people, not just for me. Obviously, I'm my first customer, let's say, but yeah, I do stuff to make sure that they do resonate, hopefully, and I hope that works. And then yeah, I've just had my shower, but I've just come back from my first 6K run. So the running is going well. So yeah, this was 6K. This was basically our normal route with a little bit extra, and we ran up a bit in Morecambe. Well, it's Heysham really. That is known locally as Cardiac Hill. So it's a nice pull up. So that was about halfway through the run, just kind of running up this hill, past lots of little horses, and then yeah, heading back. So yeah, that's been going well anyway, and I didn't have to have a break in that. So yeah, just building up my stamina. Amazing! I can't believe just how quickly my body has been able to build up from having a 2 or 3 kilometre run and having to stop about 6 times to get my breath back, to just doing a 6K run and thinking, oh, I could do a bit more. So no, that's going really well anyway. And oh yeah, started watching some cool stuff. Started watching Poirot on Netflix. So this is the Agatha Christie adaptations from the 80s. And yeah, enjoying those. Yeah, just a lot of fun. And I think there's an episode that is set quite near where we live, so just going to keep an eye out for that one. And what else is there? Oh yeah, I've been watching on the BBC iPlayer, because it's I think it's today actually. It's David Attenborough's 100th birthday. So they've had some really old David Attenborough stuff, and this is like from the early 60s. So there was one I watched yesterday about Madagascar from, I think it was 1961, and it was great. I really enjoyed the kind of really slow tone of it. It was really chilled, and I just found it really relaxing to watch. There was a lot of kind of dead air, a lot of silence. Just kind of a lot of time spent just on nothing really, and I just really enjoyed it. And it was weird seeing David Attenborough in his 30s with his voice and his charm. So yeah, I mean obviously David Attenborough's a legend, and yeah, happy birthday to him. So yeah, so next week then I think I should be able to finish my draft of Reign of Daggers. Hopefully, I think there's a chance that I'll get the main bulk of the chapters written and then probably maybe do an epilogue in the week after, or I might not. I don't know. We'll see. I think word count wise I should be able to, but there's a lot of moving parts, and I really want to make this ending hit emotionally, because as I said before, this might be the last book in that series. So yeah, that is what I'll be focused on, and hopefully I'll get it done. So until next time, cheerio.